Everyone, it's Adrienne here. I know it's been a bit since I've stopped by, but I wanted to jump on tonight, Saturday night, just after 10, and share some themes and some topics that have been flowing through me at this time. And I wanted to share a little bit about the somatic circle practice that's happening this Monday, the 17th. And if you're local to Portland, I would love for you to stop by. Some people are curious, like, what is this somatic circle and what are you doing there? And so I wanted to share some insights with you about the purpose of a somatic circle, what you can expect, and what you can discover there. It's really focused on relational space and how we show up, the unconscious assumptions and frames of reference that we bring with us that we assume a lot of times that other people just have because we do. And so when we show up with one another with an intentional way of communicating and listening, we begin to see those filters that we bring with us. And this shows up in a lot of different ways. For example, I don't know if you've ever been talking to someone and it just, what you're saying just doesn't land with them, or what they're sharing with you just doesn't land with you. And like either like I keep repeating myself or you keep repeating yourself, and there's just something being completely missed. And this is because that we have different ways of orientating mentally, emotionally, and energetically. And we take these things for granted because how do we know uh, anything else? Like, how can we compare it to anything else since our ontological experience is unique to us? And so this has brought me to inspect and learn and discover about the different lenses that we bring with us when we talk with each other, and how we can do that better in a way that feels good for uh, the collective nervous system, not just not just me or you. Like, how does it feel to be received and heard and seen, and to have the heart of what you're wanting to share land with another soul? And the level of connection is food, it's nourishing. And so you may have experienced this. You say something and the person across from you doesn't understand, or they're like, what? And so you say it again and you say it again. And then before you know it, there's like tension and frustration and even hurt. And a lot of people just don't know what to do and they just get up and walk away, um, at best. At worst, right? People can say some pretty hurtful things, trying to break through or move through an orientation that's different than theirs, never giving credence to why it is that some people are more orientated around structure and some people are more focused on behavior and other people are focused on sensation or perception. And as a hypnotherapist and as a coach and as an educator, right, it really depends on the dominant sensory process of that person. And so I've had to learn uh, that there are ways of approaching different listenings. And it's important to know that they're there. And so part of what we're doing in Somatic Circle is practicing, where's this person coming from? And it's like literal, like what orientation are they moving from? Their gestures, their communication, their way of being, their mindset, or their construction of the world. And how can I begin to create a listening for that creates joy and connection and pleasure instead of insisting that somebody meet me in mine. And it's not about perfection, of course, it's a practice. And like anything, we begin to do something and we become, stronger and stronger in our practice. And it's about increasing our awareness. And so it's not just mental, it's somatic, it's in the body. Like, what is happening in my body as you speak? Are you being present with yourself? To what degree? Are you pushing things? Are you creating static in the field? Are things beginning to create congestion? And how can we reopen that flow between the you and the I, which is the fundamental foundation of community? And so we're being asked to really develop the tools and the know-how to land this interpersonal space in a way that works for each person, not just for what's considered the norm or some sort of formulaic idea of where we should be at. And so we have different ways of saying similar things, but we don't always hear it because of our orientation. And so um, this really involves opening up the levels of our being. Because in our culture, right, we're mostly focusing our attention on the mind, on the conceptual narrative that we're living inside of, that shapes the way we see the world. But there's also the felt experience of the space between you and me. It is often referred to as an open heart or listening with an open heart, a non-judgmental open heart. And a few of us have ever been invited or even may have even known that that's available as a way of being. A lot of times it's conceptualized as a practice through the mind, but how does it feel in our body when we integrate the mind to rest in the heart that rests in the body? Because the body holds all of the neurochemicals, all of the electromagnetic signals in our body that is shaping uh, all of our emotions. It's shaping all of our thoughts, and of course, all our gestures, all of our words, and how we hold ourselves in the world. And so when we begin to listen to the different layers and we begin to integrate those layers together, we can become a soft place to land for ourselves and for others. And it's like, how do you know what you don't know until you know it? And this is difficult to explain sometimes because it's like, how do you know it's possible if you've never had it? And so this is an invitation to start dipping your toe into a whole new world. And it's not new, it's just expanded into the fullness of the being of the moment. And this is the work that we do in the somatic circle that I host every Monday. Well, I should say every third Monday of the month. And here in Portland, and I have one coming up this Monday, November the 17th. Well, where we're going to be exploring specifically this month the inherited sense of self in the polarity that's often shows up as being too much or not enough, or having too much or not enough. And how can we become the crossroads of in between those two polarities and learn how to navigate them with subtlety and ease and nuance and a deep felt sense that we can be just right, just like Goldilocks. And there's lots of reasons for this, which I won't go into in this video, but we take some time to look at these two poles and how they get embedded in our nervous system. And how can we, instead of making ourselves wrong, judging ourselves or judging other people, how can we begin to bring all these threads together in a really loving, supportive, insightful way? And this is coming up, right? Because the holidays are just around the corner. And this work becomes even more important when we are, I think it was Ram Dass who said, if you think you're enlightened, just go home for a couple days and be with your family, and you'll find those patterns are there waiting, those triggers. So our oldest relational patterns, they live in our body. That's why when we go there, they pop up just like a script until we begin to address the places where they're stored. So we can begin to preempt them and create systems of care for ourselves so we don't have to go through that cycle, often painful for a lot of people. And, uh, some of these patterns were shaped before we were even born through our mother's physiology and our preverbal experience. Like we were soaking in her um, chemistry. Like if she was stressed, we felt that in our body because we were contained in her. When she was joyful, we felt that as well. And so all these patterns came before we even had a choice. And so this isn't about making ourselves wrong or other people wrong. The good news is these patterns aren't fixed. They're changeable and we can expand beyond them. And we can create deeper, more authentic, heart-led connection, which is really what we're craving, right? It's food. It's food for us on an emotional, mental level, beyond the physical eating that we do. So how can we truly nurture ourselves? How can we connect with people in a truly nurturing way? How can we bring joy and pleasure for all the people involved in the connection, um, instead of going to that polarity that it's you versus me, or it's you versus, it's either you or it's me. And it's like, no, it's both of us together. But while that might sound like a nice idea, um, I have been on this search. I have been on this path and of discovery and learning and growing and coaching because it it didn't actually land in the body as a practice for me and a lot of people. In the quote unquote spiritual world, there's a lot of dysfunction in the love and light world, in organizations that promote spiritual practices. They haven't caught up with the embodied technology of there's all these great conceptual practices, um, but I haven't landed them in my day to day, moment to moment, present experience with others. And as far as I'm concerned, if I don't have that, then it's just a bunch of really nice ideas. And so my charge and my mission has been to gather all of the tools and the practices to help myself and other people land them into day-to-day living in ways that lift us up. And this is directly connected to our sense of well-being in our body. It determines how we feel in our body. And that is our quality of life. So it's kind of a really inclusive practice down to the core of our physical, the root of our physical being, that where the heart comes out of the loving heart and the thoughtful mind. They're all planted in the body. And so, how can we get all of these three different layers integrated and working together? So, that's what I wanted to share with you tonight. If you're local and this speaks to you, I'd love for you to join us Monday night. I'll drop a link to the event in the description of this video so you can check it out and join us. And it's going to be at 6:30. And so hope to see you there. I'm sending you all my love either way. And don't forget to breathe. All right. Bye for now.